Long-term insomnia caused by staying up late is closely related to issues such as obesity, depression, and immune dysfunction. We won't delve into the specific hazards here because it's unnecessary. By the end of this video, you'll likely see significant improvements in your sleep issues. Currently, the most recognized non-pharmaceutical treatment for insomnia worldwide is CBTI. CBTI's short-term effectiveness for chronic insomnia is comparable to medication. Its long-term effectiveness surpasses that of medications, and it has no significant adverse effects. CBTI primarily includes cognitive restructuring, stimulus control, sleep restriction, and sleep hygiene. Insomnia is actually a very normal physiological phenomenon, but our misconceptions about it amplify anxiety and panic, increasing the difficulty of falling asleep and extending the duration of insomnia. Have you ever heard that you need to sleep 8 hours every day, or that insomnia will severely harm your health? In reality, everyone's sleep duration is different, and there's no fixed rule that says you must sleep 8 hours. Furthermore, while sleep does impact the body, this is based on a long-term time frame of 3 to 6 months. Occasional insomnia is not a problem for a body that has evolved over millions of years. Our excessive focus on post-insomnia lethargy, fatigue, and lack of concentration makes us feel significantly affected. What we should do is accept the reality of insomnia without trying to calm ourselves down, as insomnia is not a big deal. Like a bystander, give up resistance, let emotions flow naturally, and falling asleep will be much easier than you think. Have you ever experienced this scenario? When you're studying at your desk, you feel very sleepy, but as soon as you get into bed, you're wide awake, or you were about to fall asleep on the sofa while watching TV. But as soon as you got under the covers, you couldn't sleep at all. This is likely because you have conditioned yourself to associate the bed with insomnia. Stimulus control helps you establish a new association between the bed and sleep. First, avoid activities like eating, drinking, playing, or using your phone in bed that are unrelated to sleep. The bed should only be used for sleep or sex. While sex can promote sleep for men, its effect on women's sleep is still inconclusive. Secondly, don't force yourself to sleep. If you lie in bed without feeling sleepy, get up and do something unrelated until you feel sleepy again. If you can't fall asleep, keep repeating this process, but maintain a fixed wake-up time to reestablish the relationship between sleep and the bed. The longer you stay awake, the more sleep signals accumulate, increasing your sleepiness. A chemical substance in the brain called adenosine has been proven to be related to this. Accumulated adenosine binds to adenosine receptors on neurons, reducing neural excitement, thereby inhibiting neural transmission and promoting sleep. When you enter sleep, the amount of adenosine gradually decreases. Sleep restriction therapy is based on this principle. Since it's not simple to implement, here's a simplified version you can try at home. First, keep a sleep diary for a week, noting the time you go to bed, the time you fall asleep, and the time you wake up. You can use a sleep tracking device like a wristband or watch. Based on this diary, calculate your average nightly sleep time and sleep efficiency. Sleep efficiency is the estimated sleep time divided by the total time in bed. If someone is in bed for 10 hours but only sleeps for 5 hours, their sleep efficiency is 50%. If your average sleep efficiency last week was below 85% and your average sleep time was more than 5 hours, reduce your average sleep time by 15 minutes for the coming week. For example, if you slept an average of 5 hours last week, you should only stay in bed for 4 hours and 45 minutes this week, while keeping a fixed wake-up time. If your average sleep efficiency for the week reaches 90%, increase your time in bed by 15, 20 minutes. If your sleep efficiency is below 85%, decrease your time in bed by 15 minutes. If your sleep efficiency is between 85% and 90%, maintain the same time in bed. Repeat this process until you achieve a satisfactory amount of sleep. If this still seems too complicated, here's an even simpler version. Shorten your time in bed. No matter how much you sleep at night, get up at a fixed time every day and avoid napping during the day or on weekends. This will allow adenosine to accumulate, and when your desire to sleep reaches its peak, you'll find it easier to fall asleep despite any anxiety. If these methods don't work, here are some personal tips. If you find yourself constantly thinking in bed, try using the distraction method by turning over. This can refresh your mind, but be mindful if you share the bed with someone, as it may disrupt them as well. Caffeine levels peak in the body about 30 minutes after ingestion and have an average half-life of 7 hours. This means that 7 hours after drinking coffee, 50% of the caffeine is still active. Drinking coffee late in the day can prevent you from falling asleep at night. Reduce the use of computers, phones, and tablets before bedtime, as light strongly inhibits melatonin secretion and affects sleep. People who work night shifts or have irregular schedules should minimize sunlight exposure to maintain their circadian rhythm, and use blackout curtains. Melatonin secretion at night is influenced by light intensity and temperature. Keeping the environment slightly cool at night can promote sleep. Taking a hot shower about an hour and a half before bed can help lower your core body temperature and aid in falling asleep. That's all for this episode. If you found it helpful or interesting, consider following me to learn more fascinating knowledge.